everybody, this is Nerdad. We are back, and we are going to be playing Baldur's Gate 3, but if you've been watching my stream for a while, we are actually going to be changing things up a smidge, and I am going to be playing, from the beginning, a solo honor mode run, so this should be pretty interesting. I fully anticipate to die horrifically, and I'm not super excited about that, but I am excited to share that painful moment with you. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is a new game, honor mode, and we are starting. So what we are going to be doing today is we are going to go with a sharpshooter rogue. And I have thought about doing the transition around like level 5 over to ranger to take advantage of a couple of like advantages that ranger has, like specifically the extra attack. But after enormous amounts of math calculations and what have you, what I've determined is that I'm going to be sticking with Rogue probably for a good while, at least until, well, I'll definitely be re-speccing to a Ranger/Rogue at like level 8. I'll go into that why in a second. But at level 5, Ranger gets a few really, really important things. So they get an extra attack. They also get access to level 2 spells, which means that they get access to Spike Growth, which is one of the best spells in the game. What Spike Growth does is it makes it so that the ground is spikes, and so that means that things can't really move in it that well, and for every smidgen of movement that they make, they are going to take damage. It's a very, very good way of dealing just a crazy amount of damage, and also keeping things like locked down. And on top of that, as a Gloomstalker Ranger, which is the subclass I would totally go with, at level 5 they also get Misty Step, which is really, really, it's again one of the best spells in the game. So they have a couple of really, really great tactics for getting out of sticky situations, but they are very, very specific. So the problem with all this is that, the problem with all this is that a rogue is so much more flexible than a ranger is going to be, and the reason for that is because we're going to be going with a thief subclass on the rogue, which gives you 2 bonus actions. Again, let me go ahead and get this all set up, and I will talk to you about what those bonus actions mean and how they compare over to the ranger extra attack. So 16 constitution, 16 dexterity, we're going to crank up wisdom to like 12, and charisma up to 14. Down here, I'm going to take off expertise on stealth, going to add in athletics because I like being jumpy. I am still going to have stealth as a proficiency, definitely, just to help with actually getting into stuff, but I should be outclassing everything in their perception pretty effectively. Hey Malantha, hey Still Gaming. So okay, I believe the ranger. That's actually a really good question, Malantha. I think the ranger has more HP. Actually, we can find out right now. Can we find out right now? My HP here. That's a fantastic question. I think the ranger does, but it's by like 1 hit die, which translates into like just 1 extra point per level. The other major advantage that a ranger has right off of the bat is that rangers have they can wear shields. They can also wear medium armor, and if you do it correctly, that means that a ranger is going to have 4 additional AC over the rogue. That is a huge deal. That's a huge deal. Let me go back to the character creation here. So I am going to be stealing everything that I want from everyone, and what that means is that I really need a very, very high sleight of hand. This makes it so that money is not even remotely an issue in this game. Whenever you're playing solo, this actually doesn't matter too terribly much. Because you do only have 1 character, you should be gathering enough items to sell that you should be able to buy all the things that you need. But I really like playing so that I don't have to worry about money in the slightest bit, and I also like having a wide variety of unique items in case I do want to switch my build. So anyway, athletics, sleight of hand with expertise. I will be proficient in stealth. I am also going to take deception as another one and do expertise in deception. And you can see here that persuasion from the background of Guild Artisan that I picked, I do have proficiency in persuasion. The reason that I'm going with deception is because there are a few checks early on in the game that deception is really, really important to have. And it's just not a persuasion equivalent, so I will be focusing on that. And the other big thing with persuasion, that, because really the choice comes down to deception or persuasion, and the other huge advantage that persuasion has is it decreases price of items that you buy, and it also increases the sell price of things that you're selling. That's a huge, huge bonus. Any other character other than a rogue, I would absolutely go with persuasion and heavily focus in it, especially if I'm playing solo. But as I said, money is not going to be even remotely an issue. So we're going to edit this character real quick.
What was that?
And normally I would not spend any time like changing up a character, but this is... Like, I've played many a game in which you have to, you know, design your own character, and I usually outsource that task to somebody else. But I actually came up with a design for a halfling female that I kind of actually like. It's not fantastic, and I'm sure like more aesthetically, but non-aesthetically challenged people out there would look at this and be like, oh, I can fix that like a whole bunch with like 2 clicks. I'm sure you're out there. I know you're out there. I am so sorry about what's about to happen, but I'm proud of myself, dang it. I think I did a darn good job with this. See, look at that. That's exquisite. That's exquisite. All right, and after all of that messing about with the appearance, we'll do... I'm just going to name this Solo Sharpshooter. Alright, and during this cutscene, I'll explain a little bit more about what's going on. So, at level 4, I will be taking the Sharpshooter feat. With the Sharpshooter... Oh, yeah. Yeah, Funnystein. So, yeah, for a little bit of background, I am abandoning my Paladin. Just like, you know, he was allowing all sorts of crime to happen and therefore has broken his oath, I'm abandoning him and breaking my oath with him. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be starting afresh. We are doing an honor hardcore mode. Well, I mean, that's redundant. It's like hard. It is hardcore mode. So we're going to be doing a honor solo run, and we're gonna see how this goes. Lots of stuff to talk about with the setup of this, but. And yes, we don't have a paladin anymore, so I feel totally fine about committing massacre. So, what we are looking at with all this is we're going rogue instead of and again, like the ranger has a lot of. So let me kind of talk about like what the ranger has that is so advantageous. So yeah, it has medium armor. It can also wear shields, which right off the bat means that it's going to have 4 extra AC. The next thing that the Ranger has is we're going to be going with Gloomstalker, and that means that it's going to have really great dark vision, which as a halfling is going to be a little bit of a problem. We'll deal with that a little bit later once it becomes more of a problem. In the first act, there's really not a whole lot where you're in total darkness. Most of the places that you're going to be in are going to be at most like lightly obscured, which is fine. That means that I can still shoot into that area. But if things get heavily obscured, then I am going to have an issue shooting into that as a halfling. Have I attempted honor mode before? Yes, I have done an enormous amount of testing offline to see if this is even remotely feasible, and yeah, I think it is. If you guys know me at all, I plan out absolutely everything that happens, and I have this very, very elaborate list of things that I need to do in order to maximize my non-combat XP, so that I can be as high a level as possible whenever I actually have to go into combat. So what that looks like is whenever we do have to do combat, we are going to be at least one level higher than the targets. Preferably 2, especially going into boss fights. I'm going to want to be 2 if I can. That also means that I will be taking use of minions as much as possible. Like a little bit later, there will be some ogres that we can hire. There will also be some mushroom people and mushroom zombies that we'll be abusing and taking advantage of. All that to make it a little bit safer to, to actually go into combat during this whole thing. So yeah, Rangers. Gloomstalker Rangers also can go into stealth as a bonus action, which is something that rogues have from level 2, which and rogues can also go like disengage and dash as a bonus action, which gives them a huge advantage over Rangers in that regard. But Gloomstalker Rangers also have a really strong free attack that they get to do on the first turn of every fight, and that free attack is weapon damage plus their their dex modifier plus 10 for sharpshooter, and then an additional 1d8. And then at level 5, Rangers also get an extra attack, which is a huge portion of their damage. It is worth mentioning the sharpshooter feat again. Let's see. So when you said solo, does that mean? Okay. So that is an excellent question, Still Gaming. So whenever I said solo, does that mean that you're not going to grab Lae'zel or Shadowheart or Gale or any of those other companions? I will be grabbing them just for the XP of grabbing them, because I'm going to need to be level 2 by the time the first fight on the beach happens, and I'm going to need to be like level 5 as soon as possible. Is basically what it comes down to. And the only way to do that is to milk XP as much as I possibly can, and that means grabbing companions, even though I'm going to be leaving them in camp. There is a good possibility that I will intentionally cheese them off to get them to leave if I feel like that's a little bit more in keeping with the whole solo idea, but I think for this first time that I stream a solo run, I'm going to use as much cheese as I possibly can. Yeah, so that's a good question too, Malantha. What restrictions do I have as solo? Just no other party members? Correct. I will not have anybody in my party for most of the game. Here in the Nautiloid, I will have Lae'zel and I will have Shadowheart, but I will be leaving them where I find them, so that I have to go through the rest of this by itself. Okay. So, but another, and this is actually super relevant right now, the other restriction or non-restriction that I have is that I can have as many summons and like minions as I want. So right here, we're going to be grabbing us. And incidentally, by the way, there's a gore warning here. This is pretty brutal. And I'll try to call out like gore and strong violence and strong language whenever that pops out. So heads up, everybody. This is super gross.
They return.
All right. I think you're past the point of saving. Tell me what to do.
Remove us from this body, from this case. Free us.
I'll let this dialogue go instead of talking here. Let's see. We're going to do dexterity. Incidentally, this check right here is going to kind of establish whether or not I can keep on going. I do kind of need us in order to continue on with this run. There will be a couple of other places that can ruin the run if I don't make it. Check.
But you notice an opportunity.
Okay.
You could cripple the strange creature.
So Still Gaming, that's another great question. How am I going to defeat the spider matriarch with only myself? We're going to spare the creature here. Well, I'll finish this dialogue and then I'll talk a little bit more about the spider matriarch, because that is a specific question. Then I'll go back into the whole plan for this build, for this run.
Free. Our freedom is ours, friend.
So a few other builds that have worked out pretty darn well are See, I just said I wasn't going to talk about that, and here I am.
At the helm, we are needed.
All right, let's go.
To the helm we go.
We are going to the helm. I've tested this out a lot, and I am so sick of the Nautiloid at this point, guys. I won't even lie. So it is worth noting that Us does have a newborn condition that will last for like 5 turns or something like that, where they will be quite a bit weakened. So before you get into the first fight, you do want to make sure that Us is no longer in newborn status.
Images of goblins, their habits and histories flash.
But just for story purposes, I'm going to go ahead and let these elithid records read out. And by the time I'm done with all the reading out of these rune slates, I should be all the way up.
Into your mind. Nerves, sinews, as much living being as ship.
Does bro have did? I don't understand what that means.
A
Does
feeling
bro have
penetrates your
did?
mind. An anomaly, one like ourselves.
I don't think that's proper
unconnected
English.
From the whole. Caution.
So a lot of these rune slates are actually really, really interesting because they will play pretty like they're hints at things that are
Worlds
coming.
beyond worlds flash before your eyes. Empires of a grand design traversed by ships just like this.
Still gaming? Is that a Final Fantasy reference? The brain sounds like Midian. Did I say that right? Midian? Oh, one more Elder's Chapel over here.
1,000 years of humanoid history. Elves, dwarves, humans, and more flash behind your eyes.
So, no, Us does not have dissociative identity disorder, but they do refer to themselves in plural. But they never have like conversations with themselves. All right, so Lae'zel's going to pop out as soon as we cross this line right here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and dip my dagger into fire right here, so that in this next fight I am ready to go with some fire weapons. Oh, I did. Still gaming. I did pronounce it correctly. Okay, good. Another reason that I'm keeping the companions in the camp is because I do want this to be like full story.
This is your end.
Of course,
Your head drops and your
I'll talk about this here in a second.
visions rush past. The dragon's wings and the sword. And the flash of your face sees through the from your eyes.
What is this?
Punch it, come on. We need to figure out where we are.
That was our priority.
Remember, guys, get Yankee battle call. Hataka! Get ready. Get ready for the Hataka.
Take control of the ship.
And you have to yell it or the run's over.
It will remain tame as long
Oh, is
as
the
it
audio being
remains
goofy?
in our thralls. It may be of use in the fight to come.
Hey, thanks for the heads up on that, Melantha. If you guys like, tell me like how it is being goofy, and I can try to adjust it as it goes here. Like, is it just getting like, is it cutting in and out, or is it getting like staticky, or what's going on? Let me know in the comments. Oh, it was? Okay. Everything's all good now? Hey, that's what I'm looking for. And we're gonna go ahead and have us jump. And also, if I don't have anything to do with the bonus action, I will be jumping just to conserve as much movement as I possibly can. So, end turn there. I'll go ahead and separate out the party so that Lae'zel doesn't accidentally follow me. And Lae'zel goes way the heck up here. And there she shall remain. It was distorted immensely, okay. But it is better, you guys. Like, is the, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Ah, I hate it when only 1 HP is left. That's fine. That's just right. Us, I would love you to. Alright, cool.
What's next?
And if we're lucky, this incinerated mind flayer is going to have a potion of speed. Nope. No dice. That's unfortunate. I am going to talk to Lae'zel real quick, and I'm going to do a couple of sneaky things with both Shadowheart and with Lae'zel. Who are you, and why are you helping me?
Am I your only chance of survival?
Okay, cool. I wonder what was going on there then. That's odd.
You are wasting time.
Hard not to ask questions. Why the hell?
Control over the ship. Or do you wish to die here?
All right, Lae'zel, chill out. Okay, so there will be an opportunity a little bit later to free Lae'zel from a couple of tieflings. And that will give us a little bit of XP. So, and Lae'zel is going to have the stuff that she is currently wearing in that encounter. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the short bow. I will be selling that later. But everything else she is going to keep on her body so that she can, actually survive in that fight. I am going to need her assistance in that fight. And technically, she will not be a companion because she will not be actually in my party. And she'll be a non-controllable NPC. So I'm going to want her buffed up for that fight. But other than that, I took everything that she's got. I took off her bow. I took off her shoes because those shoes, by golly, are 5 whole gold pieces, and dang it, I need all the gold, because, that's super important for me as a rogue who's going to be stealing absolutely everything, right? There is something goofy with Shadowheart in the similar vein, because whenever you take all of the stuff off of Shadowheart, whenever you find her on the beach, she will have a new set of gear. And so you can actually take all her stuff here and sell it, and then get her stuff on the beach as well and sell that as well. Do the restoration potted. Yeah, I'm gonna get some HP on us.
Feel ship won't be able to take another dragon attack.
Oh, there were some questions. Let's see. Somebody had some questions. Oh, how am I gonna defeat the spider bully myself? I'm telling you, I have nightmares thinking about that exact question. For those of you that have not seen my stream before, there was there was an incident with the spider matriarch under the blighted village. It was a pretty brutal fight. Did not go well. We barely. I think at one point the spider matriarch had 1 HP left. I had 3 people down, like out of fight. And I just had a Starian left, and he was 1 turn away from dying. It was not, and he only had like a 60% chance to hit or something. It was the worst decision I've ever had to make. So, but to answer your question, what am I going to do?
Better watch what I touch.
I will plan on being level 6 for that level 4 fight. 1 level in D&D is an enormous advantage, and 2 levels is so much more so. If I go into that fight and like Aunt Ethel and the Owlbear, whenever I'm 2 levels higher than those encounters, it'll be easy peasy, not even remotely a problem. All right, so I'm dual wielding now. I do have that light crossbow, so we'll move on from there. And you can fight these guys, but why fight when you can just stab them while they're laying unconscious? You still get the XP for that. So, and again, we need to get as much XP as we possibly can. Go up in this room, and we'll go ahead and grab some loot, and a brain in a jar, and the rune that we need for Shadowheart. Yeah, I know. Every fantasy story has to have a large spider, right?
How many are there?
Oh, Funnystein is saying that the audio and video is still cutting in and out. Is that still accurate, you guys? Are there still issues?
Brain in a jar.
Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell and leave a comment and let me know if the audio and video are screwed the heck up. All right. Let's see. All right. So now we're going to talk over to Shadowheart. Well, actually, we're going to talk to the console. I don't want to talk to Shadowheart. So it is going to be really interesting a
console
little bit later
appears
on
dormant.
because we're going to be in situations where if we do not have companions with us during certain story events, they will either turn hostile or they will just straight up
comes
leave.
to life.
In fact, I don't think if they're in camp they will ever turn hostile. I think they'll just leave. But that is absolutely something that we're going to have to deal with later on.
Suddenly, you feel
I don't know how I
hideous
want to handle
swirling
that.
in your head. The parasite.
It might be
Then discomfort fades,
that just for
and
those
another
encounters, I
sensation
will
washes over you.
bring that person
Connection.
along, but it's more likely I'm just going to
Authority.
let them leave because I think I'll be done with the XP from them in that situation. Illicit wisdom. So when I have not been a halfling, there have been a couple times where I have failed this roll before, and it's
Feel
pretty
the
embarrassing.
biomechanical brain of the console process your command and yield to it. A shiver runs across your mind. You feel sated.
Yep. Feel sated. Look how sated we are now, guys. All right, so
At last.
talk to Shadowheart here.
I thought that damn thing was going to be my coffin. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome,
Your mind
Shadowheart. You're so welcome.
lurches into her thoughts. You feel her gratitude, but also guardedness.
So there's
And above all,
a good argument to be made that
a will to
Shadowheart is
survive.
actually the main character of Baldur's Gate 3.
My head.
Did you feel that just now? We were in each other's heads.
I did. It must be because of those parasites they put in us. We need to deal with that. First, we have to get off this thing. Let's join up.
What a grand idea. All right, let's get going. I'm Solo Sharpshooter, the girl with the coolest name ever.
One moment.
I'm far more into practicality than I am about aesthetics when it comes to naming things, especially when I have to deal with save files. So I can just look at this and be like, oh yeah, it's my Solo Sharpshooter, cool. What's that?
It's nothing. Trust me. There's no time to spare.
It's true,
Lead the
it's
way.
nothing. All right, we'll go ahead and talk to her just real quick.
Something the matter? Besides the obvious, that is.
Shadowheart, unusual name.
Pondering my name won't get us off this ship. Let's stow the small talk until we're safe, shall we?
Any suggestions for how to proceed?
Well, jumping overboard is hardly an option. So that leaves us with taking
Shadowheart's
control of this
silly.
ship. Provided we can figure out how to do that, of course.
Actually, Shadowheart is pretty dry and acerbic and a little sarcastic. So
I'm right behind
I
you.
can appreciate her. I like her. All right, same deal. We are going to be taking all of her stuff, and when I say all of her stuff, in this case, I actually do mean all of her stuff. But to keep this as PG-13 as possible, we're going to go ahead and switch her over to to our camp here. And I am going to take her shoes, because, again, 5 gold, guys. We cannot take the mysterious artifact yet, but we will see what happens with that a little bit later. All right, anything else going on? Nope. Because, again, whenever we find Shadowheart on the beach, she will have a new set of gear that we can take and sell. So we are totally going to take and sell it.
Another brain.
Another brain. Oh, wanted to read that.
Faint
what the
images
story
appear in your mind. A brain, a Githyanki warrior, and centuries of darkness.
Again, lots of stuff hinting at things that are going to be coming. Which, as in a good storyteller, you should be doing. I forgot to disconnect Shadowheart from us, but she's just right there. I disconnected her now. We are all good. But no, there's a good argument to be made that Shadowheart is the main character of all this, and like Act 2 in particular is like the Shadowheart show, like all day, every day, the Shadowheart show, which is cool. Like Act 2 is a great piece of storytelling. Okay, what I'm going to be doing right here is I want to go into this fight as loaded up as I possibly can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dip my weapons and immediately go into turn-based mode, and I'm going to go ahead and do dash. And what's going to happen here is, first off, we're going to get this autosave, and then we are going to Go through here. It's going to trigger a cutscene, and then whenever I start off this fight, I will have my weapons flaming, and I'll also have dash in place so that I can get a little bit more movement that first turn. Oh, and gore warning. Sorry, meant to do that in advance. Apologies, guys. Oh my goodness. Yeah, do more of that, guy.
Connect the nerves of the transponder. We must escape. Now.
So if you are playing with a group,
Nerves.
and you happen to have a character that uses a two-handed weapon, this Commander Zalk has his glowing fire lightsaber looking thing. You can get him to drop that with Shadowheart. Like if you do command drop, it might take a couple times because it's like a 50-55% chance to succeed. But if you get him to drop it, you can pick it up and use it in Act 1, and it is fantastic. It is a really, really good sword. All right, so there are a lot of corpses around here, and they all have like, you know, pretty standard equipment. A couple of them have like gyms and stuff. I'm not going to worry about that too much. If I were concerned about this, if I were not a rogue, I would actually take the rogue along this side just because there are so many bodies along that side and just kind of like loop them around. But I'm not going to worry about that. So rogue gets to go right here and kill that thing. However, I did not toggle dual wielding, which I never do because I'm a moron. It would have been nice to kill that with just one hit. But, you know, hey, what can you do? But check it out. I mean, like, she's already way, way, way up there. So, good stuff. God, primary sauce. So, one of the things that I am doing in my off-stream time is I am running through a full-on honor mode run, but with a full party. And in that, I am actually giving full advance warnings of when... what am I trying to say? Whenever, you know, like, rated R things pop up, like language, violence, gore, that sort of thing. So if you're interested, I'll be uploading the first episode or two of that here probably tonight or tomorrow. So if you're interested, check that out. It'll be on my channel. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. All right. So, oh, remember, disable this stupid thing. And actually, she took a good little hit. Only has 8 HP left. I don't particularly like that. So I might need to use a healing potion by the time this is all done. Which, I mean, not my favorite thing, but what are you gonna do? In fact, I'm gonna do that right now. Because, I mean, this is solo mode, so I mean, we gotta be careful, y'all. Yeah, we'll go ahead and enter turn. Another crucial thing in this first part is you basically need a free... Like, you need this Mind Flayer to be able to tank 3 attacks from Commander Zalk. And that can either be through misses, or if the Mind Flayer manages to stun Commander Zalk, that's 2 attacks that it can't do. But if it can't get those 3 by the time you hit that control panel, you are likely going to die because Commander Zalk is going to fly right over to you and slap you in the face with that huge glowy sword. Which is, I don't know if you guys know this, but that's unfortunate. All right. And with the HP that this guy has right now, I must have missed it. I must have been talking, but I think that it got stunned. So I think we're going to be okay. It's not great robbery if they're not 6 feet under yet. Isn't the flaming sword like level 3? I don't. Well, okay. So actually, it's kind of a goofy question because I mean, it's a fantastic question. Sorry, but the answer is a little bit more complicated because in D&D, items do not necessarily have levels to them. The items are, but this is they kind of have like rarity to them. And I'm not sure what rarity is, but it's really nice. It's a really nice sword. And I wish we could actually look at that thing, but... Oh, well. What are you going to do? These guys are nearby, so I'll go ahead and move them. And... I no longer have fire on my daggers, so I am, just to kind of like give me a little bit extra movement, I'm going to go ahead and jump, even though I could dual wield. But I think this next turn I'm going to have to shoot instead of poking, because everything's pretty far away. Yeah. So... Good. I really needed that to happen. Really needed that to happen. Us is pretty far behind me, so I am a little concerned because Us is really good at tanking damage. Because again, like Us has 27 HP and I only have 11. And I believe that these guys will just go for whatever is closest to them, so I need to get Us in front of me. Which is
If this ship hits the ground, we're dead.
Alright. The other crucial thing is if you have to pick which mobs to kill, go with the Lesser Imps. The Lesser Imps give you 10 XP, whereas the Lesser Hellboard only gives you 3 XP. So you can make up the difference if you're in a severe emergency and need to get to that transponder like ASAP. But we'll try to take out these Imps as best we can, which... Actually, I'm going to increase the size of that because I like having that off to the side. I'm not going to be able to even get remotely close to that guy. And Us is going to go before the 4. So we should be okay putting Pillow Shark. Alright. And here it is. Us is going to take this guy out one hit. Here it is. Here we go. So much for dreams and wishes. This is a lesson for everybody. Dreams are just dreams. Don't. Can I make it? I cannot. I think that Mind Flayer is going to last another turn. Should be fine. Yeah, 40. Oh yeah. 43 is more than enough. So I'll go ahead and take this guy out right now. Actually, I can go stabby. Yeah, let's go stabby. Actually, speaking of stabby, let me turn all that on, because I like being asked whenever I have my sneak attacks, dang it. And, yeah, I'm gonna be able to dual stabby.
I'll strike you down.
Or not. Okay, that worked out great. Try to get this Mind Flayer. Yeah, it's the Mind Flayers that have the gems on them, so I do like to keep those handy. Because, you know... I will be stealing a whole bunch of stuff, but it does make the stealing a lot more smooth if I can actually sell things. Alright, and I'll go ahead and move Us way the heck down there. Again, just to kind of be a... Well, I would love for Us to be able to move. Us, dang it. Sometimes Us gets a little bugged out and will not move. I think the whole game is like bugged out right now. Ah! Did not mean to do that. Sometimes you can really mess the game up that way. I'll just end Us's turn. My goodness gracious, if you're gonna pitch a fit about it. Alright, it is at this point that the Mind Flayer will probably not last another turn. Because Commander's Log does do about 16, 17 damage a turn. Sometimes a little bit less, but I cannot rely on that. So I will not rely on that. And I'll go ahead and hit the transponder. Let your dreams be true.
The Helm's alien transponder.
I mean, when it comes to being able to shoot stuff in D&D, sometimes you just have to let your dreams slip into the ether. Goodbye, dream. All I wanted to do was shoot something in the face. Oh no, it's meant to fire. Okay, so talking a little bit more about the plan for all this. I love the way the Mind Flayer like plucks that like it's a bass string. It's good. Anyway, sorry, getting distracted. Guys, help me focus. So with the build, the Ranger, the advantages that the Ranger has, it has very, very specific and I guess unique is another way to say it, tools to be able to solve situations. And those tools are, it has high AC. It is also going to have spike growth, which is going to prevent things from moving to it. It also has Misty Step to get out of sticky situations. So really good in that sense. It also has the extra attack, which is going to enable it to have like pretty high damage output, but I'll talk about that in a second here. Gloomstalker also has a Dread Ambusher ability, which is just a free attack on the first turn that does a little bit of extra damage as well. So we'll also have it with Hunter's Mark, which is going to give an additional 1d6 damage every time that the Hunter, or sorry, every time that the Ranger does damage with a weapon attack. And this is going to be a pretty significant source of the, or a consistent source of Ranger damage. The Rogue, on the other hand, the Thief Rogue, gets 2 bonus actions. And so what that means is that pretty much in every situation in which the Ranger would have the ability to do regular attack plus extra attack plus bonus action attack, because we're going to have hand crossbows. And we'll be dual wielding those hand crossbows. Every time that the Ranger can do 3 attacks, the Rogue absolutely can do those 3 attacks as well. And it kind of gets a little bit better, because if the Rogue decides to stealth, then it can do that and still have a full 2 attacks. Just won't do quite as much damage as the extra attack on the Ranger. And the Rogue also has the ability to do either a dash or a disengage or 2 stealths or whatever. The Rogue is way more flexible.
The tadpole squirms in your skull.
And on top of that, the Rogue does have sneak attack, which, if you compare sneak attack and the bonus action attack that the Rogue is going to have from having a hand crossbow versus like attacking from stealth as a Ranger with the extra attack and Hunter's Mark, the Ranger does come out a little bit better in terms of damage. Not much better, but a little bit better. But that means that the character has to abandon the enormous amount of flexibility that being a rogue provides with those 2 bonus actions. Because if I get into a sticky situation, I can absolutely get out of it in like a turn, in like 1 turn, and then leave
for nothing
camp
if you
or
don't
whatever.
find help soon. The tadpole is a death sentence,
Or just
and the
get
clock
far
is
enough away and
ticking.
stealth somewhere and just
You
chill
need a
out
cure.
until the danger passes. So ultimately, I'm gonna stick with Rogue. The only thing that might change my mind at after level 5 is the fact that the Ranger gets way more AC than the Rogue does. So I'll have to be careful. But I think if I play intelligently enough, we should be good with the Rogue. So the thing that makes rogues more flexible is that they get 2 bonus actions.
I'm alive.
They get 2 bonus actions. Here, I'll talk about
How is
that
this
here in a
possible?
sec. But that's a very good question. I was hoping you might know
I
that.
remember the ship. I remember falling. Then nothing.
Now what?
First things first. We need supplies, shelter, and most of all, a healer.
See if you
We
can
might
find
have
all those
escaped,
things
but we
in
still
camp.
have these little monsters in our heads.
You want to stay together?
We need each other, and we both know what's at stake. Can't think of better company.
All right, let's get moving.
One thing, just before we go. I wanted to thank you again for freeing me. It would have been all too easy for you to run right past my pod, but you didn't.
It's true, I didn't.
I'll remember that. Lead the way.
So the big deal with this, if you're playing in a party or whatever, and this is important to you, is that You do want to maximize your affinity with your your party members as best you can.
Something
And
the
keeping them
matter?
around is a good way to do that. Because, like, especially most of the party members, there's a way to kind of boost their affinity with you right off the bat. What's the story with that odd little artifact you have? And on top of that, I do want this to be a story run, so I am keeping them around for story purposes.
There's no story. None that you're entitled to hear, anyway. Just forget you ever saw it.
She will remember that. What do you think of all that's happened to us so far, now that it's been 30 seconds?
We haven't gone all that far yet. What are you referring to exactly?
You must have thoughts about our little stowaways.
Must I? Thinking about it won't help. We know what to do, so let's do it. Find a way to rid ourselves of these things. We've no solid leads right now, though. We'd best get hunting. If you discover anything that might help us, I'm all ears.
What will you do if you actually manage to remove the tadpoles?
I suppose we'd go our separate ways. Not a slight on your company, of course.
Whatever, Shadowheart, you jerk. No reason for us to not stay together if we get on, well...
Perhaps. Perhaps not. If we do survive, we'll have separate lives to return to. I need to get to Baldur's Gate. There's someone waiting for me there. Someone I have to reach. As soon as possible.
Seems personal. And I don't think this gives affinity with Shadowheart right here, but in general, if you pick options with Shadowheart that are respectful of boundaries and of secrecy, she really likes that kind of stuff.
Thank you. And you're right.
She also
It's
really likes it when you're
a
a jerk to
delicate
the people she
matter.
doesn't like, which
Not something for light
sometimes are
conversation.
a lot of people. How am I holding up in your estimations?
I must admit, you've been a surprise. And not an unpleasant one. Kindred spirits are few and far between for me. Besides, you saved my life aboard the Nautiloid. How can I do anything but sing your praises?
That's right. That's right. We should get to know each other a little more.
Must we? No harm in a little mystery,
She
don't you
loves
think?
secrecy, I swear. My camera is a little off kilter, and it's like throwing me off. I just noticed that. Is that bugging you guys? Or is it just me? I think it... hopefully it's just me. But hey, let me know in the comments if the camera angle bugs the crap out of you. Let's see. You don't want to talk about yourself?
I should hope not. Have you ever heard the people who want to talk about themselves? I'm doing you a favor.
Maybe I'd like to get to know you better.
Sweet of you,
Aw.
but don't worry. I'm sure you'll get to know me just fine by traveling together. No need for interrogations just yet.
If that's what you prefer, I can respect it. See, again, this is the option that's like, oh, you have boundaries and secrecy? That's fine. And check it out.
Thank you.
Shadowheart approves.
I'm sure we'll get along perfectly well.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and leave real quick and check all the stuff out. She has got replacement gear that we are totally going to take. All right. And with that, see you later. See. Oh. At her selected.
Something the matter?
Yes, go away.
If you're sure.
I'm sure, dang it.
A shame. I thought we were doing well together. Perhaps I'll see you at camp. Farewell.
All right.
One day I'll catch a break.
My game is like acting really, really bizarre. Like a lot of keyboard inputs are not working here. I'm having some technical difficulties, guys. Alright, there we go. So with that, I'm going to do a little bit of inventory organization. I'm going to toss all this stuff back to camp. All of these things are also going to go to camp. The Eldritch Tablets we really don't need. I can't just sell those if I want to. The Brains in a Jar will actually be a little bit useful later on. It is worth noting, Scroll of Detect Thoughts. I should talk about that here in a second. In fact, I'll talk about it right now. If you are not playing a character with high charisma and you're doing one of these solo runs, and you're a little concerned about not being able to make all of your charisma checks, which you should be. Like, persuasion is the most important ability in this game, which is why I picked Guild Artisan, because as a background, because that background does have I don't even remember. It's persuasion and something else. I can't remember. Oh, I need to level up. Oh man, I do that so often. All right, let me level up first. That would have been horrific. Let me talk about level 2 here. So we get these cunning actions. These are all bonus actions, and Melantha, this is kind of to answer your question. So as a bonus action, we get to hide, we get to dash, we get to disengage. We normally only get one bonus action that we can use on those, which already makes the rogue very, very, very strong. Just because being able to dash or disengage or stealth on a bonus action, it's enormous. That is enormous. It gives you an enormous amount of survivability, allows you to get out of just about any sticky situation that you get into, except for like control spells and stuff like that, but that is a whole nother topic of discussion.
Fresh water. There must be a settlement somewhere nearby.
So the rogue, right off the bat, like at level 2, they get all those cunning actions. They're very, very strong. They're very strong. But anyway, I'll go ahead and read this note real quick. Sigh. I love you. There, I said it. If you meet me tomorrow, I'll say it again. Oh, this is Anna. Sorry, I shouldn't have a guy's voice. I apologize, everybody. And again, and keep on saying it till we're old and gray. Or I'm not going to do that at all. So let's do it. Let's go to Baldur's Gate. I know it's risky, but so's staying here. The last few months have been hard, but they're a little easier when you're there. Leave your boat and meet me at the hill overlooking the old bridge. Bring whatever you can carry. We'll make do without the rest. Don't be late. Love. There are so many of these notes that you find that are just like, we have so much promise and I can't wait for our future life together, and oh, I'm so excited about it. These wonderful Oh, I'm dead. All right, so anyway, going back to why the rogue is, or the thief in particular, is such a good thing. So a thief gets 2 bonus actions. And what that means, so the trouble with one bonus action is that you kind of have to pick what it is that you really need to do. So if you are surrounded by a bunch of bad guys and you are definitely about to die in the next couple of turns, then you can use your bonus action to disengage. You disengage, and then you can use your regular action to dash and get extra movement and get the heck out of there. But the thing is like whenever you get that heck out of there, the bad guys are just one dash away from being right back on you again, and it means that you can't actually escape what they are doing. With 2 bonus actions, what that means is that you can, if you're surrounded by bad guys, you can do a disengage, and then you can do a dash with a bonus action, and then you can do a dash with a regular action, and that will actually put them behind you, and every turn after that you will gain ground, especially if you are dedicated to getting the heck out of there. Then what that means is that you're surrounded. First action that you take is a bonus action to disengage, then you do 2 dashes, because bonus action dash, regular action dash, that means you have 3 times their movement. Your next turn, they're not anywhere close to you. You just do 3 dashes on top of each other. You have quadruple your movement, and you're gone. You're out. That's it. Not only that, but 2 bonus actions means that you can stealth as much as you want. So let's say you start a fight from stealth, and so therefore you have advantage. You get your sneak attack with your regular attack. You can then go back into stealth and use your offhand attack and have advantage again. You won't have sneak attack because you can only do sneak attack once per round, but even still, that means that you can, like, if you play it right, and if you don't need to have stealth whenever you whenever you shoot with your offhand weapon, you can start every turn in stealth and end every turn in stealth. That does lead to some interesting situations where you might actually have people looking for you and they don't know where you are, and the fight's just over and everybody goes back up to full HP, and that kind of sucks. But If you're careful about it, that's so not an issue. So same deal as what I did on the Nautiloid. Dipped my weapon in fire and went into turn-based mode so that I don't lose the fire, because the fire only lasts for 3 turns, as you can see right here. So in turn-based mode, so I can have plenty of time to do this, I'm going to go over and sneak and let's see, yeah, make sure that my dual attack isn't on. All right. Sneak attack and dead.
Strike could be lethal.
All right. This one is a little bit more rough. So this guy is surprised right now. Think about how I want to do this. I still have my full movement, and he's going to be able to get into range, but I kind of don't want to be in range of him. Or maybe I do. Maybe I do. I'll just do it. I'll go ahead and do a flourish. That'll teach him. Oh, or it won't teach him. If he saves, it won't teach him at all. That's cool. Whatever. I don't care. It's fine. It's fine. So there is another mind and elective hour up there that I need to watch out for. But I don't know if you guys saw that, but that did say surprised. And what you want to do is in this run, every time that I can start the fight with the enemy being surprised, I will, because that means that I get a free turn on them. So like right now, I stabbed one, I half stabbed the other one. It still hasn't gotten a chance to act. After this, after I do stabby right now, it will have a chance to act. So I am gonna have to be really careful. But I do still have fire on my blades. Yeah, just rid of that, and hopefully this can take him out. I always end up with 1 HP left. That is the opposite of what I wanted to have happen. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right. So with this, I'm gonna go ahead and use my bonus attack to take this guy out. And then I'll see if I can shoot this guy. Yeah, I can shoot this guy from a distance. And I am going to go ahead and do piercing shot. Piercing shot makes them take extra damage on subsequent attacks. Unless they save. Unless they save. Which, you know, hey, that's what they do, right? All right. So with that, I am now going to hightail it out of here. Because what I want to have happen... Actually, hang on a second. I'm going to adjust my options. Because I think it's on interface. Actually, I have it disabled so that whenever it is somebody's turn in combat, it will not automatically zoom over to me. But I do want to adjust that so that you guys can see a little bit more about what's happening here. Of course, not even going to be a situation if I can't find it. Penny, online visibility. I will have to find that at some other time. Maybe video. Okay, let's try video. No, it's not it. Fine, whatever. I'll deal with it later. Somebody put it in the message in the comments, letting me know after you've liked and subscribed to freaking adjust my settings. All right, I'll in turn. Yeah, that's what I was trying to avoid. Gosh, those little lasers are brutal, but so are their claws, and it stinks because I'm gonna have to burn my bonus action to get that thing that hopefully can kill it. All right, cool. So one really cool thing about the Rogue too that that is a huge advantage over the Ranger, but not as much of an advantage as you would think. Rogue is the only class in all of D&D that does not need a long or short rest. None of its resources are expendable. So that means that you never have to take a long rest. That means that you never have to take a short rest. You can just keep on going as long as you have HP to keep going, which is really, really cool. It is less cool. Well, okay, it's... It is both more cool in Baldur's Gate 3 because there are potions of healing everywhere. Everywhere. Which means that you can always have full HP. which theoretically means that rogues never, ever, ever have to rest, ever. But, the reason that you would typically not want to do long rest on here is because you do have to have camp supplies in order to do long rest. And in honor mode and in tactician mode, this could actually legitimately end up being a significant problem because you need twice as many camp supplies to do a long rest, which gets really expensive. But if you notice, I just said the word expensive, and what are we not worried about in this run? That's right, we're not worried about money in the slightest bit. So being a rogue is kind of an inverse catch-22 because I don't need to long rest, but I also can long rest as much as I want to because I'll be able to steal as many camp supplies as I could possibly ever want. So that's the irony there. But you know, it's not bitter irony because it's like, well, that gives me just more options to do whatever.
Hurry! I've got one of those brain.
Oh, hi,
things called-
Astarion.
There, in the grass. You can kill it, can't you? Like you killed the others?
Easily stand back. Nailed it.
There. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, it's one of those brain things.
Just a dumb boar. You're relieved until you see the flash of a dagger.
What? If this is a robbery, you're off to a bad start, Elf.
I just need information. I saw you scuttling about on the ship. You're in league with them, aren't you? Those tentacle...
Your mind twists. You're looking out of unfamiliar eyes, prowling dark, busy streets. You try to hold the memory, but it fades to the worm. The light, the fear.
What was that? What's going on?
Hey, spoilers, you guys. Astarion's a vampire. I don't know, but something just connected us.
It's those tentacled monsters. Whatever they did to us caused that link. They took you too. I saw it during whatever just happened. And to think, I was ready to decorate the ground with your innards. Apologies.
Bro is good at robbing. I'm just better at noticing. Glad to see we're all caught up now.
Indeed we are.
Well, I mean, except for the fact you're not telling me about the other
Allow
vampire.
me to introduce myself.
Except for that, we're all caught up.
My name's Astarion. I was in Baldur's Gate when those beasts snatched me.
Oh, his voice actor is so good. So good. Tell him your name and your story.
My, you've been busy. So, did you learn anything about these worms while wandering the ship?
It's kind of funny because, you know, we have that option to tell him, you know, our name and our backstory when the player doesn't even know the backstory at very least. Kind of funny there. Yes, unfortunately, they'll turn us into mind flayers.
Turn us into... Of course it'll turn me into a monster. What else did I expect? Although...
That's a bitter but good line.
It hasn't happened yet. If we can find an expert, someone that can control these things, there might still be time.
We'll have to see Astarion. Control it? We need to get rid of it.
Well, yes, of course. But first things first.
You should travel with me. Our odds are better
You
together.
know, I was ready to go this alone. But maybe sticking with the herd isn't such a bad idea. And anyone that can crash a mind flayer ship and walk away seems like a good person to know.
I don't want to tell him it was
All
accidentally an
right.
accident.
I accept.
Oopsie.
Lead on.
All right. So, yeah, again, I'm keeping these guys around, or not like keeping them around, but like actually getting them into the party just because I want the XP. It's all about the XP. But same deal. I'm going to be taking all of his stuff. And making sure that he is clothed. All right, and with that, he is gone.
Well, hello. What can I do for you?
Tell me about yourself.
Oh, what's to tell? I'm a magistrate back in the city. It's all rather tedious.
I need you to stay in camp for a while.
Darling, I'm hurt. I thought we had something special.
Please just stay in
Well,
camp.
you know where to find me.
All right, cool. With that, we can go ahead and keep on moving. I am going to need to come back to the spot. There is something that we need to grab in that area, but it does require a lot more strength. Like, far more than the, 8 that I have right now?
A mind flare. And it's hurt.
You approach the dying monster.
Like, ultimately,
This
once we
is
get to the
thing
Emerald
that
Grove,
abducted you. You could
we'll
end
be
its
chugging
life here
down
and now,
elixirs
if
of
only you
hill
didn't
giant
feel
strength, like,
compassion.
like, inappropriate
Compassion.
reference. No, you should be furious, shouldn't you?
Yes, you feel hate. And you deserve to be punished for it.
It's true.
You should be whipped, made to bow before this creature in shame. It's possessing your mind, forcing you to love it.
The only thing I
But then
don't
the
like about the
feeling
design of the
slips.
female
The creature's mind
halflings,
seems to
like they
focus
look great. They look
elsewhere.
great, except for their teeth. They have like horse teeth. Take advantage of the lapse. Break me.
The monster lies exhausted, defeated. Its eyes, wet orange pearls, radiate malice.
Close those eyes forever. I like the little heel twist to really get it done.
Death is too good for it.
Let's see, nothing over that way. So we are going to head back in this general direction. And again, I will repeat, like, what I'm going to try to do is maximize non-combat HP as much as I possibly can. And hopefully this leads to good results. In fact, really, before level 4, there's really only one piece of combat that we have to take. And that is right outside the entrance to the Emerald Grove.
What's going on with that room?
It is also worth noting, right here, if you are not a rogue or like a wizard or a sorcerer or maybe even a warlock, I believe, and you have low strength, do not do this. Do not touch the ancient sigil until you can get a hill giant strength elixir. Because the way that you pull, spoiler alert, this is Gale. The way that you pull Gale out is through strength, unless you're one of those classes, in which case you will have
As if malfunctioning.
some other
It
option.
looks slightly dangerous.
I've said this before, but this cracks me up. Like, so the narrator is basically like the DM here, the dungeon master for those that don't really play Dungeons and Dragons. But so often as a dungeon master, you will say something like this, like, "Oh, there's a sigil here, and it's malfunctioning. It's erratic. It looks dangerous." And what do the players immediately do at that case? They touch the sigil. Because that's what players do. You can't tempt them because they will take the temptation every single time.
A hand? Anyone?
I know. Like, it's super sad. It's super sad. Like, if you fail the strength check, you get to try a strength check again, but I think it's at a higher DC or something like that. But you just watch Gale's hand slip away, and he's like, "No, I really wanted help. Oh no!" But yeah, so like for example here, I've got you can do a sleight of hand check instead of a strength check if you are a rogue, which I am totally going to do. Worst case scenario, if you really need to get Gale out and you just don't have that, then after the fight in front of the Emerald Grove, there is a necklace that you can get that will give you guidance. You can use guidance on this, and that'll help you quite a bit. Guidance is a cleric cantrip that will give you an additional 1d4 to ability checks. you should always have guidance on when you can. It's always a relief when he comes out of the sigil because that like staticky is done.
Oh. Hello. I'm Gale of Waterdeep. Apologies. I'm usually better at this.
At introductions?
Say, but I know you, don't I? In a manner of speaking.
That skipped a
I'm
line.
the Norse Lloyd as well.
Never mind the Nautiloid. How'd you get stuck in that stone?
I don't know what transpired exactly, but the ship broke into pieces and I suddenly found myself in freefall. As I was plummeting to certain death, I spied a glimmer quite near where I estimated my body to impact with less than savory propulsion. Recognizing this glimmer to be magical in nature, I reached out to it with a weaving of words and found myself on the other side, as it were. How about you? How did you survive the fall?
Gale's voice actor is so good. So good. And the writing for Gale is also very, very good. I took control of the ship, landed it safely, and saved the day.
That vast burning wreckage behind you somewhat contradicts your story, but here you stand. So who am I to argue? Still,
Good stuff.
swashbuckling heroics aside, I have the unfortunate suspicion your survival is still very much in jeopardy. Back on the ship, you too were on the receiving end of a rather unwelcome insertion in the ocular region, were you not?
Couldn't have phrased it more repellently myself.
No use sugarcoating it, is there? The insertee we speak of, this parasite, are you aware that after a period of excruciating gestation, it will turn us into mind flayers? It's a process known as ceramorphosis, and let me assure you, it is to be avoided.
Thanks, Gale.
You
That's
don't
good
happen to be
advice.
a cleric by any chance, do you? A doctor? Surgeon? Uncannily adroit with a knitting needle?
I'm no stranger to high-stakes extractions, but these tadpoles are beyond even my light fingers. I can't cure us. You know what? I'm going to do this one. I can knit you a cap, but that's where my prowess with the knitting needle stops.
A cap would keep the parasite nice and cozy, but its comfort is hardly my priority. We're most certainly going to need a healer, and soon, too. How about we lend each other a helping hand once more and look for a healer together?
Oh, what a swell idea. Sounds like a plan. You're welcome to join.
Most excellent.
For the next 30
Parasite
seconds.
shared is a parasite halved, or something to that effect. Oh, but before you think you're about to embark on a journey with most ill-mannered a man, thank you for pulling me out of that stone. It was an act of foresighted kindness, I assure you. For I have the feeling ample opportunities will present themselves for me to return the favor.
I will say, like, Gale has a little bit of introductory chapter syndrome, where the first time you meet him is just fantastic. The writing is excellent, and then all the other stuff that he has is, I mean, still good, but it doesn't match the quality of the writing as whenever you have it. And this, I call that first chapter syndrome because in a lot of first chapters of books, you'll read like the intro and the first chapter, and it sounds so good. Like the writing is amazing. It's poetic. It's flowing. It's beautiful. And then the rest of the book just was average. The reason
You're not versed in magic, are you?
I'm not. Why do you ask?
No matter to worry the unlettered over. If you meet any elder wizards, let me know. There is a matter I'd like to seek advice on from a master.
I'm sure this won't ever come up again. Cool. Let me talk to Gale again.
What's on your mind?
But yeah, the reason that they do that is because a lot of authors know that when people look at their books, the first thing that they're going to look at is like the prologue or the first chapter, whatever, and they look at that and they say, "Oh, this is beautiful. The writing is so elegant and flowing and beautiful." And they'll be like, "Oh, I'm going to buy this book because I want the whole rest of the book to be exactly like that," and it's not. It's a thing that happens, you guys. Tell me a bit more about yourself.
Let's see. I hail from Waterdeep, city of splendors. I am a wizard of considerable acclaim and scholar of exceptional accomplishment. I have a cat, a library, and a weakness for a good glass of wine. And if the mood takes me, I'm known to try my hand at
Bro,
poetry.
that's magic COVID. I want to know more about your hobbies. Can't you tell me something about the real you?
Certainly. That I have a great respect for privacy, for instance, especially my own.
Change the subject. I need you to remain in camp for a
I
while.
question the wisdom of that decision, but so be it.
Oh, actually, never mind. let me steal our stuff. I didn't finish the theft. This goes. Now you can go to camp, Gil.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Need you to remain in
I
camp.
question the wisdom of that decision, but so be it. I'll be in the camp then, idling away the hours.
No, it's almost, it's like less magic COVID and almost more like, it's like an addict. Like I can stop at any time. I can stop absorbing items anytime. This doesn't define me. Gonna go down here and grab some extra XP, and I think there's a fire resistance elixir in here. Could be useful a little bit later whenever we're dealing with a burning inn, but there are ways to get around that. I'm more interested in the XP, yo. And actually, she is not going to have enough strength slash athletics ability to even get back up there, I don't think. Try getting up here. But that's totally fine, because we did just unlock that waypoint, so we'll just jump over there. Alright, the next thing on our non-combat XP list. Actually, I'm gonna drink a potion of healing real quick, just to make sure, in case this goes wrong. Next thing on our list is dealing with some grave robbers. And again, the key here is I have to do a charisma check to get optimal outcome from this.
You're both twice as tall as me, but have half the bloody backbone.
But we don't know what that thing even is. And what about the crypt?
I'm telling you, it's a ship. And the crypt can wait. Mari and Barton have been trying to break in for days. Now we... Stop!
I love the way
Got
he...
ourselves competition
Just this
already.
dramatic stop!
That's our ship.
Another kind of funny thing. If you... So this guy is a half-elf. If you look at all the elves, they look like aliens. But all the half-elf face models are like could be on like a model runway. They're just beautiful people. All right. So again, so what we got here is if I fail any of these checks, the entire group is going to go hostile. If you're not feeling good about these checks and you want to kind of do an advance on the fight, you can actually shoot the big huge stone block that is above these two, and it will take them out of the fight. But the danger with this is that off to the side there is a mage. That mage has sleep, and it will be very aggressive about casting sleep. And if they manage to cast sleep on me, I'm done. That's it. This whole run is over. So this is a very, very important roll to get, but it's not too bad. Yeah, it's just a 12. That was closer than I wanted it to be.
Well, in that case, come on you lot. No point in getting killed. Second worm gets the cheese and all.
Second mouse gets the cheese, no?
Nobody's getting any damn cheese. Now move it!
All right, and with that, I can go ahead and start
Time and
looting
the
this whole
elements
area. There are a
have
couple
left the
things that
planet
I'm going to want
unreadable.
/ need in this area. So actually, let me go up the stairs first. The first thing is I'm not going to be doing this too much whenever I'm playing solo here, but if you are playing in a party and you have a ranged character, you can stack up 3 crates to give them high ground advantage, which then is additional +2 to their attack roll, which is 10%. 10% increase to your ability to hit is fantastic. So in here, in this little area, there are 1, 2, and 3 crates. You can just grab this as early as you want. Keep it on like one of your heavier guys to, just have it in store. And then whenever you need it, you can pull them out, stack them up, put your put your ranged attacker on the stack of crates. Give him a little extra bonus. And again, since I am doing this solo, I'm not gonna be doing that too much. One other thing that I will be doing is I'll be grabbing a good number of containers just to help out with inventory organization. Especially if I'm playing solo, things can get a little messy in inventory, and so these containers help me to organize a little bit. All right. So right here, I'm going to check and see if I have either a candle or a torch. I do have a candle, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that and activate it, because, well, actually, I shouldn't have dropped that until I know the outcome of this, but I'm going to go over to the door here.
Everything all right out there?
All right, so this is one of the instances that I need deception and not persuasion, because if you notice, there is no persuasion option here. So I'm going to go with deception here. And again, if you want to wait to do all of these checks until you've got the necklace that lets you cast guidance on yourself, that is a very, very recommended way of going about doing things. And part of the reason that that's recommended is, I mean, like, you could go for the XP right now and get that XP and, you know, be totally happy getting all that XP, but it's still, with the fight outside of the Emerald Grove, will not put you above 3. And if you're not going to be above 3, then you may as well wait to do all of this, all of these checks. In fact, I think I'm going to officially recommend that that's exactly what you should do whenever you're trying to run this solo and you're being very, very cautious. So I pulled out the candle and lit it so that I can dip my weapons in there. Same deal. We're entering turn-based mode and through the door.
You're dead!
And the cool thing with this is that if you succeed on that performance check or the deception check at the door, this guy will be by himself and he will be surprised. So I can go ahead and get some extra attacks, and actually I'm going to move just barely out of the way. Nope, nope, nope. And stealth. And do a sneak attack. Sneak attack. And he is surprised, so he cannot do a reaction. So I'm going to go ahead and move right here and stand right in his way so I can get a free opportunity attack. And let me make sure that those reactions are enabled and the asking of those reactions are enabled as well. All right. He is surprised, so again, I'm going to go ahead and hide. And okay, this is also really important. If you start a turn threatened, you cannot hide on that turn. This is really, really important whenever you're planning your turns in advance. So I did in part move away from him. In case he for some reason was able to move, I would be able to opportunity attack him, but also to get out of his range so that I could stealth. What is that called? Hide. I always call it stealth. But this should take him out. So again, free, quick, and easy XP. That is a fight, a piece of combat that isn't quite necessary, but it does get you an extra, like 25 XP, which, hey, is great. Because we need 364 left to get to the next area. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and
No more prayers.
loot some of the
Only
stuff in here,
silence
just
and
again
dust.
to give us a little extra oomph on the gold that we've got. Because I don't want to spend too much time stealing golden items, because it's not the most exciting thing in the
Ancient,
world.
indecipherable text covers the plaque.
A dead tongue. Whoever worshipped here must be long gone.
Yes, the containers weigh a lot. In fact, let me see if I can examine this right here. Yeah, every crate is 20 pounds. And especially right now in the game, I'm already at encumbrance. So an additional 60 pounds is just not what I am after right now. So actually, while I'm in here, I'm glad you asked that, Malata. While I'm in here, I'll go ahead and get rid of some stuff so I have a little extra weight space. And since I don't have any companions, I am just going to send these over to camp, and I'll grab those whenever I'm ready to sell things. In general, because the rogue does not really have money issues, I do still want to loot all of the stacks of books for two reasons. One, books don't really weigh that much, but they are pretty valuable for the amount of weight that they do have. I think they're worth like 18 gold a piece, and they're only like 0.4 or something like that. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. 14 gold, and they are 1 pound. But still, that gold to weight ratio is really good. So I do always pick those up. And the other reason is because really oftentimes in those pile of books you will find spell scrolls, and we do want a lot of spell scrolls, like as many as possible. I mean, obviously we don't need every single type of spell scroll that is out there, but the more that you can pick up, the more that we can use if we, you know, like dual class or even respec into wizard. And then it also gives us a whole lot more utility in case we are in sticky situations. So yeah, I will have a pretty intense collection of spell scrolls when this is all said and done. And actually, speaking of respecking, it is worth noting that I will be abusing the respec system a lot. A lot. Let me grab that candle. Let me grab that candle. There we go. Some of the stuff that I'll be doing with respecs is I will be, like, if I know that a very important set of skill checks are coming up, then I will respec to something that can handle those skill checks a little bit better. Some of the, spoiler alert, some of the situations that I will want to respec are like whenever we get to the Kresh and are using the Zaithisk, because again, spoiler alert. You know what? I'll talk about that later when it comes up. But suffice to say, whenever you are at the Githyanki Kresh, there are a set of very difficult checks to pass, and they cause enormous problems if you don't pass them. And they are also one of the best buffs in the game if you can get them to pass. So very important to pass those checks. That's one of the places that I will be respecing for that. Another place in the Underdark that is enormously difficult if you do not pass skill checks, and enormously easy if you do. So we'll be respecting for that one as well. And the reason that's important is because that section, for those of you who have played this before or seen this before, that's the section with the priest of Bual. The reason that's so important is because that one encounter, no matter how you finish it, gives you 750 XP, which, again, if we can get out of doing combat and getting that much XP, then that is absolutely something that we need to do. Oh, and we're actually done with this area, so we're gonna zip back over to the roadside cliffs. And we're gonna go check out what all the commotion is up here. Actually, this is another example. I think I'm gonna wait until I get the amulet, the guidance amulet, because, and I'll talk more about this whenever I actually get to this little area and have to go through that skill check. But that is to free Lae'zel in that little area over there. But the reason that I have to be super careful with that is because if I do not pass a deception check, I will have to kill innocent tieflings or kill Lae'zel. Neither of which is a desirable outcome. The only one that has a good outcome is passing a deception check, which is, again, one of the reasons that I got proficiency in deception as opposed to persuasion for this early game. We will probably switch that around at the end. Or I should be a little bit more specific. It wasn't just proficiency. It's proficiency and expertise, which doubles your proficiency bonus. I picked deception as one of my expertises. All right, So, there is a fight coming up here. This is the only required fight that you have to do until, like, level 4. And even then, by the time you're level 4, you have ways to have enormous help during those fights. Lying brings good endings. That's right. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay out that candle again. I'm going to go ahead and light that candle. And we're going to go ahead and... yeah, I'm going to dip my daggers. And I'm going to dash. I don't think that the dash is going to carry over into combat, but I'm going to try it anyway. Worst case scenario, I lose my bonus action and won't be able to kill the guy that's going to be up there on this little cliff.
Nobody gets in! Zevlor's orders! That pack of goblins will be on us any second!
What's going on?
Goblins are on our tail! Open the gate, Zevlor, now!
You let goblins here? Where is the druid?
Please! There's no time!
These mercenaries are just the worst. They're just terrible people.
By the 9 hells! Open the gates!
See, this is a stupid response. Whenever he sees, like, wargs and goblins, he should say, "Oh no! Keep that gate sealed and closed!"
Get him! No!
Shit! For the
Language. By language, I mean a lie.
Damnable
I
rogue.
will not tolerate people saying lie.
Provoke the blade. And suffer its sting.
This is the cheesiest character intro, I swear. Oh, hey, so check this out, guys. This is awesome. So I did do the dash before we started. My stuff is still on fire. It has 2 turns remaining, that's fine. But I did the dash through a bonus action, and I have the bonus action back, and I still have the dash. I don't think it's going to be super, super useful, but there is this Booyog right here. This Booyog has Ray of Sickness, and if it connects, it has the possibility of taking me down, like, in one shot. So we avoid that at all costs. The trick, though, is that Zevlor is going to blow this horn in a second and give everybody 8 temporary hit points, which is huge. I only have 19 to begin with. But if I'm too far away, I will not get the bonus HP. It is also another note on this is that check out how many enemies there are. Check out how many are going, like, have a really high initiative. If you do not go first in this fight, there is a very, very good chance you will not make it and the run's over. So, here we go. I think I'm gonna go ahead and... do I want to... let's see, it's 2 to 10 damage versus the 1 to 6 that I have right now? I can never remember when rogue sneak attacks, like, increase. That's not what I want. Oh. Sneak attack. Oh, it doesn't have the value. I'm gonna look that up. So bear with me for a second, guys. So, and actually, this is worth talking about sneak attack right now as I'm looking this up. So sneak attack is incredibly important because this is what makes the rogue have almost the same damage output as a ranger does with a full-on extra attack, and with Hunter's Mark. By the time you are level 5, the sneak attack damage goes up to 3d6, which is nothing to laugh at. That's an average of 10.5 damage every time you pull off a sneak attack, which is great, which is awesome. But you do have to compare that against the ranger's full-on extra attack at level 5, which is something like Hunter's Mark is up. It's like 20 damage or something like that. So, but again, it all matches up because the rogue also has extra bonus actions that it can use to do extra damage output. It's all complicated. It's all complicated. But suffice to say, the rogue is under the ranger as far as damage output, but it is pretty close. It is pretty close. Okay. So sneak attack damage goes up to 2d6 at 3rd level, which means that, yeah, the 1d6 plus 1d4 is actually a better thing here. So I am not going to stealth. I am not going to do a sneak attack because it is better damage for me to do a bonus action here. So here we go. Of course, that's if I hit. There is that issue. I like killing that guy on the first turn, and maybe that's why I should do sneak attack there, just to get like an almost guaranteed hit. But I'm gonna go ahead and hightail this. Just I really want those bonus HP though, so we're gonna hang out right here. I needed that. I needed that. That's great. That's great. Oh yeah. I'll watch the fight here. Here is something else that needs to happen in this fight. That must happen. Did I get rallied? Nice. Nice. Okay. Something else that has to happen in this fight, or else the run is relatively hosed. That was a bad hit. That was a really bad hit. Is that Will has to survive this. And you'd think, oh, okay, yeah, he's a companion. He has to survive. No. If companions die, you can res them. Not a problem. But if Will dies in this fight and you res him, it causes a pretty enormous bug in the game where Will be unselectable. He'll be in your party. He'll be, like, clothing has weird effects on him. He will not exist anywhere. He will be unusable, and he will just be stuck for the entire rest of the game. So if you are here and Will dies, I would consider it run over. Not run over, but I would consider that your run is now in the state of being over. That's what all right, I do not have a good place to go to get... I don't have a place to go to get out of line of sight. But the challenge here is I also am completely out of range because I had dash and I went too far. So since I have an extra bonus action here, I'm going to go ahead and dip my crossbow, and we'll see if we can take this guy out. Yeah. Really glad that happened. That was only a 65% chance to hit. I don't like them odds. That's not good. Hey, good. We'll build that guy up there. That's great. It's Melantha, it's fantasy. How do you ignite a metal sword? It's not that you're igniting it. It's that you're dipping it into the fire and getting a coating of fire on it. Which, in this case, the fire is coming from a candle, as opposed to like oil. And you would actually think that if you had a super flaming hot sword, that it would actually make things worse for dealing damage because it would just cauterize everything as it cuts through. I don't know. Ask a Jedi. I'm not totally sure about the mechanics here. All right. Can I reach this guy for melee attacking? I sure cannot. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Because here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and... Well, I still have 5 temporary HP. I don't think I need to use this basic poison. This guy will probably stay up for another turn, but I can handle. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Oh my gosh! Solo sharpshooter pulls through. So with that, I am absolutely going to stealth.
Right, time to skulk about.
And just because I don't want to have to climb this thing again, I'm just going to go ahead and loot these guys. And in turn. Critical miss. So things are going pretty good. I like for the Goblin Booyog to be done at this point. Ask and you shall receive. Really awesome that the ward only has 1 HP left. Man, this is actually going really, really well. Really, really well. Normally at this point, like, one of the mercenaries has, like, dropped. Usually Will's at, like, half health, but man, everybody's doing pretty good. Aridin might be dead here in a little bit, which, I'll be honest, I'm pretty okay with. These mercenaries, I actually do not want them in the Druid Grove. So I will be taking precautions to prevent them from being in the Druid Grove. Not like murder or anything, but just because if they're not in the Druid Grove, it lets us loot a few extra things. I really didn't need that to be a critical hit, because it only had 1 HP. But that's how things go. You always leave them with 1 HP, and then the next round you have a critical hit that wipes them out. With, their 1 HP and does, like, 50 damage worth of overkill. Oh, I should have stayed off and done... And should have done stealthing from outside of range. So I won't be able to stealth right here. That was dumb on my part. That's fine, I'll back up a little bit. Go into the shadows. Look at those deep, deep shadows. I can stealth at the beginning of next turn. That way I get advantage and finish this stupid game. Go on, kill Aridin! Kill Aridin! Wow. Lots of critical hits on this guy. Yeah! I mean, oh no, Aridin died. That's a shame. Actually, now that Aridin's died, I can totally see this entire fight going, falling apart. Alright, let's go ahead and stealth. Oh my gosh, that was weird. Alright, let's go ahead and scooch forward just a smidge and take this guy out. Because if I can take this guy out, then Ramira is going to be very, very free to start shooting these guys because these guys are locked down in opportunity attack range. So here we go, here we go. Nice, nice. And I am just going to chill right here because this is a little island of no line of sight. Or I guess line of not having sight range. Whatever. They can't see me is what the point is. One other cool thing is Zevlor is a little hard to hit for these bad guys. Yeah, 17 AC. But if he does get hit, he has 1 opportunity to do just like Infernal Fury or Retribution or something like that. But like he will pretty much take out whoever hits him. So it is, even though you don't want, poor Zevlor to get hurt, it is nice. As it is. I know, it's so sad when Erendit dies. Let's see what we want to do here. 75, yeah, let's take the Bugbear out. Sneak attack. See, of course. See, at least he wasn't left with 1 HP. He's got, he has the dignity to have 3. I appreciate that a lot more than just leaving it at 1. Hey, nice. Wow, this fight is going very, very smoothly. And yes, by smoothly, I mean Aridin dying.
That was the last of them. Inside! All of you! More may follow! Open the gate!
All right. So with that, before people get back into position, I am actually going to go ahead and steal all the stuff from Aridin.
Don't waste a step.
And then get the heck out of there, because if like they treat Aridin as a as like something that they own, and so if they see you do that, then they will come down and treat you like a criminal, and I don't want that at this point, because I am going to do all kinds of criminally things, but not yet. I'm not ready for it yet. And by ready for it, I mean I haven't
Need to find a way
pre-busted out of jail. Incidentally, what I am doing over here is, up on top of this, this is where the amulet is that allows you to cast guidance. For the first act, it is the most important item that you can get, because I will be using guidance over and over and over and over again every single opportunity that I can possibly get. Always a bummer when you fail that history check. Alright, so now I have guidance, and now I'm going to cast guidance, because I want to go over here. Oh no! Failed the perception check. Alright, so you would think that, like, combat, and especially boss fights, would be the worst thing about doing the solo runs. No. It's failed perception checks on things that cannot be, like, retried. So, like, this had a little bag of, like, coins and a spider egg that I'd be able to use and have a brief little companion to help out some early combat, but no. I had to fail that perception check, and now that spider egg is completely lost to me. What a bummer. I believe the proper action here is to request that all those present pour one out for the lost spider egg. I'm gonna go ahead and go down here as well. This is another kind of crucial perception check. Perception check?
These
Survival.
goblins.
Yeah, so we know that. That is an alternate way to get into the Druid Grove. And what we are going to be doing is not having to go that way. There are some goblins inside of that, and there's also a druid that we can save inside of there, so I will absolutely not be heading in that direction. The direction I will be heading in is looting all this stuff right here. Lots of good stuff. Oh, see, like, got a scroll of grease. Love me the grease spell. Wargfang. And the real important thing here is this. Gloves of Power, whenever you hit with a weapon attack, which I'll be doing all the time, it basically gives them this effect of the spell Bane. Which is a minus 1d4 penalty to attack rolls and saving throws, which is awesome. Plus, to help me steal absolutely everything that isn't welded to people, this also gives me a +1 to sleight, which is just peachy. All right, and we are overburdened again. So again, we're gonna go ahead and send to camp. Oh, a whole bunch of camp supplies that we can send to camp as well. We'll send all this to camp as well. Plenty of space now. Oh, and both of those are empty, that's right. And here we are at the Druid Grove, and spoiler alert again, we're going to be spending an enormous amount of time in here. And of that enormous amount of time that we'll be spending in here, an enormous amount of that time will be spent stealing. Because you know what? These druids are kind of jerks anyway. I'm fine with fine with, you know, stealing everything off them. Ooh, let's check out those clothes. Let's see. Maybe I'll keep them around, but I do actually like the rogues, like purple leather armor. It's good fun. So actually, yeah. I am gonna go ahead and jump down here because there is a cool little shiny chest that is locked that we are going to want to open up. And because I don't want to jump into this area yet, I mean, it doesn't really matter too much, but I don't want to jump into this area yet. I'm going to go ahead and lockpick this, and then we're going to waypoint right the heck back out. And so, here, check this out. So, DC 15, I get all my normal bonuses, but now I have the option to add guidance on top of that, which I will absolutely be doing every chance that I get. All kinds of good stuff, including 120 gold, which is absolutely what I am looking for. So, back over this way. And we'll head that direction. So before we really get into the nitty-gritty of the Emerald Grove, there are kind of 3 things that we need to accomplish here. The first... Well, actually, there isn't any more. The first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to go out of the Emerald Grove and talk to, like, Karlach, and then get another thieving item, and loot a whole bunch of stuff in the North Grove and Waypoint. That's thing number 1, and that's probably the longest thing that we've got. The second thing that we're going to do is open up the prison so that we can steal at will, and that way, if things go wrong, we have a way to get out of there. Oh, you know what? I actually did not want Aridin to die. If all of them die, that's a pretty good situation because you can loot all of them. There's a couple of little interesting things that happen inside there. But if either of the other ones die, and Aridin survives, then Aridin will actually be at the gate talking to Zevlor. And if you make it so that Zevlor or Aridin punches the other one, then Aridin ends up leaving the grove and leaving all of his stuff, and you can just take his stuff for free. So whenever you get inside the Druid Grove and Aridin and Zevlor are both pitching fits at each other, let them do their thing, and Aridin will leave, and you get free stuff. A little pain and suffering in the world is totally worth it if you can steal all your stuff that they left behind. And there is some pretty decent... I think there's, like, clothing and some, like, camp supplies up here, I believe. You know what? I'll go ahead and activate that. Nobody's up here. I will not be leaving behind camp supplies. Like, that is a pseudo-finite resource. So I will be grabbing that just in case I do need to go crazy with long rest later on. And it is worth noting, I have talked so much so far about how good the Thief subclass is, but I'm actually not going to go with the Thief subclass whenever we initially hit level 3 as a rogue. And the reason for that is because we have a lot of story stuff that we need to take care of, and we need to take care of the story stuff disguised as a drow to make it very, very easy to make it past all of the story stuff. And the way that we disguise ourselves as a drow, one way, ironically enough, is to be a
Should mind my step.
yeesh. One way is to be a Gloomstalker Ranger, because the Gloomstalker Ranger at level 3 they get Disguise Self as a spell.
At the ready.
One of the other ways to do it is to go as an Arcane Trickster subclass rogue. And if you do that, one of the spells you can pick
goblins would kill us
is
the second we
Disguise Self.
set foot outside. But after hearing what you did at the gate, well, I still think they'll kill us. But at least we can put up a fight.
So point being is, what we'll do is we're going to be Arcane Trickster for Disguise Self. We'll get through all of the stuff that we need to be a drow for. And then, by about that time, we'll be pretty close to level 4, or we will be level 4, and then we can respec back into a Thief Rogue. Not with that attitude, fight and win!
There's optimism, and then there's stupid, hun. Plenty of us fell to monsters already. I don't see the rest of us lasting long out there. But if you're so sure we will, why not put a little gold on the line?
A tontine, guys, that's illegal. Don't do tontines. How are you going to take my gold if you're dead?
Oh, I'm sure you're good for it. Just leave the gold on my corpse. After
Weird.
seeing you at the gate, I'm sure you'll last longer than us.
I don't know if her plan makes any sense. Alright, you're on.
Excellent. And since I ain't one to leave a debt unpaid, that means we're destined to meet in Baldur's Gate. Looking forward to it.
Weirdo.
So many ways to die.
All right. So here is the moment of truth here. Normally, you would have to go a little bit farther to meet up with Karlach and also to get a thieving ring that is pretty close to Karlach. But that's not what we're going to do. Get that chest, all sorts of cool stuff in there. And if you jump directly down here, it is like just enough to make it so that you do not die. So that's what we're going to do. And this will kind of bypass a lot of the other stuff that you have to deal with. Does put you at very low health, but we haven't done a short rest yet. We're absolutely going to do a short rest right now. And then finish off the rest with one of the 50 million health potions that we've got.
A key. Wonder what it opens.
Such a mystery. All right. So let's go ahead and talk to Karlach. We'll get a little bit of XP from doing that. And then we'll continue on with exploring like the safe stuff in this area. There are strong language warning coming up here. So heads up, the entire time we're talking to Karlach, consider it a strong language warning. If you don't see big, huge ADHD red puppy in the form of a humanoid, then you're safe. But as long as she's on screen, consider it strong language warning. Try to douse the flames.
Steady on, soldier. That's the stuff. Oh, fuck me. It's you, from the Nautiloid. Please tell me I found you before those so-called paladins of Tyr did.
So actually, Melantha, speaking of chugging healing potions, this is another reason why rogues are so good, like thief rogues are so good, is because drinking a healing potion is a bonus action. So if you have 2 bonus actions every round, then you can drink 2 healing potions, and you can use your regular action to throw a 3rd one on top of you. Like, you can top yourself off easily in 1 round as a rogue. Let's see. I don't remember you from the ship. Where were you?
Now that's a story, and I'll tell it to you, but truth be told, we shouldn't stay here too long. See, these paladins of...
A great heat roars through you. Her heat, fiery as the hells. Then you're lost in visions of demonic armies as you tear through a landscape of fire and blood. The Blood War. You saw it from above as the Nautiloid passed through Avernus. This woman was on the front line.
What was that?
It is. I mentioned a little while ago that Karlach is a big, huge, fiery red ADHD puppy, and that is absolutely true. Like, pretty sure she was intentionally written to have ADHD, and she's a great representation of what what it's like to have ADHD. She's great. She's great. She's adorable. She like can hyper focus when she needs to or wants to. But other than that, she's just like, I mean, she's like, if you look at her, she's constantly like bouncing around or like dancing, or it's good fun. It's good fun. A tadpole in our heads. It connects us.
Fuck's sake. Mountains as far as the eye can see. Guess that explains the voices. From that peek I got into your head, you've made some inroads trying to get the thing sorted. But alas, no joy. I'm Karlak. And you are?
Oh, I'm Solo Sharpshooter.
Well met, soldier. Now that we're old pals, how would you feel about helping me kill some evil bastards? A little background, if your moral compass needs something to point at.
She's also written really
You
well.
already know I fought in the Blood War. I was good at killing demons. Really good. So good, Zariel, the archdevil herself, made me her personal attack dog. I played along until I could get the fuck out of there. Took me 10 years to properly escape, but now I'm free. Zariel sent goon after goon to hunt me down. But believe me when I tell you, I'm not going. The latest yappy little dogs she sicked on me are nearby. A group of dopes posing as paladins of Tyr. Want to help me take them down?
Heck yeah, that's XP. So you want me to kill the people hunting you?
Don't worry, I'll lead the charge. I could use your help. There's a lot of them, and only one of me. After that, we can team up. Take Faerun by the short hairs. Sound good?
Sounds great. Let's do it.
Fuck yes. They cornered me outside the toll house just up the hill. Doubt they've gone far after the scorching I gave them. I'm getting all het up. Let's make tracks.
All right. So, normal procedure. Take all of her stuff. Actually, at this point, we can just send this straight to camp. We can also sell all these scrolls of revivification, I believe. They're really, really expensive, and so they sell really well and give us a little extra gold to deal with. That goes, and that goes, and taking your shoes, too. And with that, get out of my face. Oh, we'll talk to her real quick. So, how did you end up fighting in the Blood War?
Trust me, I'll tell you all about it after we take care of the goons on my tail.
Jeez, rude. Only help me if I help you first. Jeez. In your expert opinion, what's the best way to kill a devil?
Depends on the type. Ice devils hate an inferno, but that's an easy one. Orthons love projectiles. What they don't love is getting their bombs lobbed right back in their faces. Demons, on the other hand, every demon is absolutely singular. You can't ever think you've got them typed out. Sharp instincts, sharp weapons, and a knack for improvisation. That's the only way to survive them. Anyway, what were we talking about?
That's what I mean. She's so distracted. Now this isn't where I thought I'd end up. How about you?
Funny you should ask. I was just thinking about what would have become of us without that Nautiloid. I mean, I know where I'd be. Trapped in Avernus still, with the Blade of Frontiers on my tail. But what about you?
I'd be back in my home, not a care in the world.
Oh, man. Lucky you. That's the dream. Maybe when this is all done, you can show me where you came from. My family home's long gone, but I'll show you my favorite chow hall in the city, if it's still standing.
Make sure there's
Hey,
nothing
soldier.
else that she needs to talk about. Yep. Stay behind in camp.
Boring.
Sounds boring. You heard me.
If you insist, I'll make my way back. But don't be long, all right?
And there's a backpack with her stuff in it. Pick up that backpack there. All right. So again, got tons of stuff. Actually, got that wooden crate. I didn't think I grabbed that wooden crate. Oh well, back to camp it goes. All right, few more things we have going on in this area. Again, I keep on talking about a thieving ring. We will totally take care of that thieving ring. So this thieving ring is a little inconvenient. It is fantastic when you are trying to be stealthy, and especially when you are trying to steal things. But here is the problem with it. It gives you a -1 to your charisma. And right now I have a charisma 14, which means that my bonus is +2, which means that this ring takes it down to a +1, which very much stinks. So I always have to like micromanage my use of this ring. Because if I forget that I have it on and I have to do a charisma check, then I will end up with a -1 to a pretty critical roll that I need to make. And if I go thieving or try to stealth when I don't have it on because I've just been busy talking to people, I end up getting found. I end up failing a sleight of hand check. I do both of these things all the time. So you guys remind me, after you like and subscribe to the video, be sure to leave a comment reminding me not to be dumb. I know. Malantha, I know that's the funny thing with all this. Like, Gale talks about how he's like this super accomplished wizard, level 1. Will talks about how he's like, you know, been up and down the coast and he's a folk hero and everybody loves him because of all the super courageous things that he's done, level 1. Karlach is like this really accomplished soldier. She's been, you know, fighting in the Blood War for like a decade, level 1. Part of that, at least with Will explicitly says that he used to be able to do like higher level warlock things, but the tadpole like reset him basically. It's your basic Metroid situation.
Everywhere. Accident or sabotage.
It is also worth noting, if you guys don't know this trick, if you fail a survival check and there's nothing else like super suspicious around, like most of the time it's because you missed the opportunity to dig stuff up. But if you pay attention to where you had the failed survival check, just go back there and manually activate your shovel and you'll dig it up anyway. So this house here is where Karlach was saying that the people were after her. And the reason that I'm coming back here is because there are a whole bunch of dead gnolls here. And dead gnolls have hyena ears. And with hyena ears, you can make potions of speed, which is, hands down, the best potion in this entire game. Potions of speed give you bonus movement. It gives you a buff to your dexterity checks. Or actually, I think your dexterity saving throws. I don't know. I don't remember. Something to do with your dexterity. And on top of that, it also gives you a second action. And if y'all have ever played Baldur's Gate, or if you've ever played D&D, the most important thing for you to do is increase what's called your action economy. The more that you can increase the number of actions that you can take in a turn, the better. And ironically, like when you're playing D&D, the kind of crazy thing is that, actually go back down this way. The kind of crazy thing is that whenever you have like a major boss and you have like a team going against that major boss, the boss cannot do anything because it's all about action economy. If you just have a party of 4 people, then each one of those 4 has a regular action, a bonus action, compared to the boss's 1 action and 1 bonus action. And actually, this is what makes honor mode so hard, is because in honor mode, not in tactician mode, but in honor mode, all of the bosses have extra legendary actions that will eat your face off. So you have to be very, very careful to deal with those appropriately. Because again, all about action economy. There's also an elixir that we're going to be using a little bit later. And elixirs in this game, they're potions that you drink and you get the effect for the entire day. So you have it until you long rest next. And again, rogues don't have to take long rest that much, so we will not be needing to switch out elixirs very much. But there is one elixir called the Elixir of Bloodlust that whenever you kill something, you immediately get an extra action. So what we're looking at is we will, like in really rough fights, we will have a potion of speed up and running. So we'll have already 2 actions that we can take. On top of that, we will have the Elixir of Bloodlust, which if we kill something will give us a whole nother extra action. So this is actually another reason that Rangers can be quite a bit better than Rogues, is because, so the equivalent on a Rogue to extra attack, which is what Rangers get at level 5, which makes them so good. Rogues get an extra bonus action if they're a thief. And that's almost as good, but whenever you do shoot something with your offhand or attack anything with your offhand, you don't get to add like your dexterity modifier to it in this case, which means that they do slightly less damage. It's not too bad. But because the extra attack is technically not an action, it's part of your regular action whenever you do a regular main hand attack. That means that whenever you get that Elixir of Bloodlust and you get that Potion of Speed and you have like a total of 3 full actions to take, that means that you get to do an extra attack every single one of those. And that's where the huge advantage goes to the Ranger. Go ahead and pre-guidance up here into this conversation. I guess it doesn't matter. I'd be able to do guidance in the conversation anyway.
You ain't gonna shoot me. Your hands are shaking.
I like this interaction a lot. This is
Put it
good
down.
writing.
She can't fight back.
That's the point. Get out of the way.
Such a great
She didn't
line.
kill your brother, Arca. You're better than this.
Shoot before you lose your nerve, Tiefling. If you ever had it to begin with.
I mean, this goblin, like just the sheer defiance and like almost apathy. It's not like apathy. It's like determination or certainty that things are going to not necessarily work out for the goblin, but work out for what the goblin believes in, versus this tiefling holding the crossbow who has just lost someone very, very dear to her and is so angry that like she's losing control. And it's so interesting to see like the tiefling who has got the crossbow not in a cage losing control, whereas the goblin in the cage without any weaponry at all being totally fine. But I'm going to step between the crossbow and the goblin.
Looks like the Absolute sent me a protector. You gonna kill her too?
You move.
All right, with this one, a couple of different ways to go. I actually really like the mechanic of detect thoughts. Whenever you successfully detect thoughts, and it is a wisdom check, then it will always give you a dialogue option that will be as though you had passed a persuasion check. So again, if you're playing a really high wisdom character and didn't have the ability points to spend on charisma, use detect thoughts like every day, and it'll last all day long until you take a long rest. So you just need a handful of detect thought scrolls, and it works out great for you. So yeah, playing high wisdom characters, go with detect thoughts. That's not what we're doing though. So yeah, we're gonna do this one. This won't avenge canon. It won't change anything. Oh, and I do not want to do Charm Person. Charm Person gives you advantage on charisma checks, but in a lot of situations, after the Charm Person wears off, they consider it to be a crime, and you will go to prison for it, or they'll turn hostile or whatever. So be very, very careful doing Charm Person. Hey, that's great.
You're right. I wish you weren't. I really do. Damn you. Damn it! Why do you care if a goblin lives or dies?
Because vengeance eats people alive. You'll grant the goblins 2 victories this day. Actually, a lot of these responses are just really well written. Like, because she's not a practice target, she's a person. If she dies, she'll take everything she knows to the grave, and a goblin prisoner her life isn't yours to take. But I'm gonna do this one about vengeance.
You'd better be right.
It's all right, Arca. Let's go.
Really good interaction. Yeah, it's really well written. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do here is, if we get caught doing something illegal, this is the prison that we will go to. So what we're gonna do, if you have a party, then this is not too big of a deal, because you can just have your party come in, grab your equipment, and bust you right out. But we don't have that. So we kind of have to do some pre-preparation.
That's curious.
This stone door right here, this is the other side of the stone door that we detected when we were outside of the Emerald Grove. So we're not gonna worry about that too much. But I am gonna go in this direction first and kind of loot some things and take care of the storehouse that we'll find here in a second.
I don't like the look
All
of that
right,
mushroom.
so the thing to be very careful about in this area is that they have a lot of these exploding mushrooms that that will do a decent amount of damage to you. So yeah, be really, really careful. Not like kill you, but if they will knock you back. They will do damage, and you just don't want to not be careful here. Hey, that's awesome. Got an arrow of transposition. This is a teleport arrow. That's great. So a random chance of something like that popping up. It's just like a random arrow or whatever. But yeah, really glad that happened.
Stop! This place is off
This is the other thing we need
limits.
to take care of.
Leave.
All right, so also worth noting here, there are a lot of different options that you have here. All of these will allow you to be inside this room, but it will still be stealing if you take the stuff inside this room. The only one that allows you to take the stuff is deception, and this is the other reason that I took deception instead of persuasion as expertise. So I'm going to be doing deception. I'm afraid I can't. I've been placed in charge of this area. Guidance again, as always.
But Zevlor said Damn it! Figured it was a pity post anyway. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, everyone.
Sorry if I don't show you around.
So, like, in the Druid Grove, there's seriously like 4 factions operating. Like, there's the mean druids, the druids that don't want to be as mean, but can't really be nice at the moment. There are the tieflings. Gosh, there's the tiefling kid thieves who are on their own level. And then there are the mercenaries, even though the mercenaries are kind of a minor part of all this. But still, like, 4 factions going on here. So, yeah, everyone's at each other's throats, and yeah, it's crazy. Need a hand up?
I just fall back down. Legs are as steady as a foal's. Bloody potion.
I'd wager your potion was a paralyzing agent.
What? No, the potion worked. I'm strong as a bugbear and fearless. The old lady warned me that this might happen, that it was a side effect.
It sounds like you've been duped.
No, she's been nothing but kind to me. Why would she... Sorry, I need a moment. I'm not feeling the best. But I'm sure it'll pass.
I'm sure it will. So with that, we now have the ability to loot absolutely everything in here, which is just delightful. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. The reason why this is as good as it is because there is a lot of camp supplies in here. And again, we basically have an infinite amount of camp supplies, but it's just a pain having to steal all that stuff. Read this Druid's Ledger here. Oh my gosh. Supply log is scrawled and underlined on the inside cover. The dirt-stained pages that follow track the storage and use of food and medical supplies. A flurry of entries near the end suggests that the reserves are nearly depleted. We're going to go ahead and, not read that. I'm going to take that book. And then loot everything else in here. Yeah, sometimes the pathing to get to containers is wonky as crap. I mean, really, really bizarre. Like, climbing up on top of all kinds of furniture to get something that was, like, sitting right next to you. But, you know, the sitting next to you thing was, like, on a crate next to you. So, I mean, it's... I don't blame you for crawling all over it. Read this, approachable east thing. Oh, this is just a general book. We don't need that. A lot of these books, that are, like, the mass-produced books, actually have really interesting, like, hints and insights into stuff that it will happen in the future of the game. So it is... If anything, it's worth finishing up the game and then going back and playing through it again and reading through the books and stuff, just seeing like all the crazy like references and hints that are occurring and even like the rando books. Almost done in here. We are encumbered, so after this we will send all of our heavy stuff back into the camp. I know. In a world where things like Mage Hand exist, which is basically telekinesis, like it's... You can't just reach past something, huh? Soul coins. This is mainly a Karlak thing, but I'll go ahead and pick it up to sell it anyway. Alright. So that's everything in here. I'm going to go ahead and send my heavy stuff back. What do we got? Yep, lots of camp supplies. Camp supplies, for whatever reason, weigh an enormous amount. Like right now, I have 220 pounds I'm carrying. This gets me down to 14, which is by far the heaviest thing that I've got here. Like, leather armor is 9 pounds. So if you are walking around and you're like, why am I so encumbered all of a sudden? Check your camp supplies. It's almost definitely your camp supplies. Drop those off. And cool, this is safe to lockpick now. If you came into this place like without talking to that woman on the ground first, then this lockpick would still be red, and if anybody sees you doing it, they would freak out. Possibly send you to jail. Annals of Baldur's Gate. Preface. Centuries ago, a young man sailed from the village of Grey Harbor. Where he went, what he saw, and the deeds he accomplished are simple legends today, but the wealth he returned with years later is a hard fact. Baldurin made Grey Harbor rich. His gold built docks, funded businesses, and raised strong walls to protect it all. One of the gates into this flourishing city was named in his honor, but so great was the wealth that flowed through it that the name of the gate became more famous than the village that started it all. The name Grey Harbor has been relegated to dusty history books and ancient maps, but Baldur's Gate, that name is on the lips of every traveler in Faerun. And on the lips of the title screen, because that's what the name of the game. All right. So. Let me go ahead and finish up clearing, like paving the path for future theft. And again, there's one more like really critical thing that we need to do in order to make it easier for us to escape prison later. Because we do have those mushrooms. There are more hidden mushrooms on the path over here. But those mushrooms do reappear after you take a long rest, so you do have to be careful in case you think that you've cleared them out. But apart from the mushrooms, there is one other thing that we'll do here. See, exploding mushroom right there, and... Oh no! Oh, come on. I did not detect that mushroom, which not ideal. Not ideal. I think that's the first time I've ever failed that perception check. It's like, yeah, it's like a difficulty class of 5. Of course, a good player would have done guidance first, because you always should cast guidance whenever you know that a perception check is coming. This is the last thing we need to do, is take that door down. So that we have an easy way out and we don't have to bash it down. And there's another one of those mushrooms up there. All right. And so now... Oh, there's the mushroom. I already forgot it was there. Oh, man. All right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go head over towards Will. And our next steps are going to be talk to Will. Oh, actually, I'm going to stop right here because our next step is going to be talking to Satsa. And then we'll talk to Will, we'll get Will in our party, and then kick him out immediately. And then we'll go all around talking to everybody, picking up anything that we can grab, and then selling stuff, and then the long process of stealing thousands of pieces of gold. All right. Thank you, guys. We will pick this up next